Hello everyone, welcome to the second video in our iRacing doubleheader this week. If you watched part 1 a couple of days ago, you'll know that the new season did not get off to a successful start. We had an absolute disaster at Watkins Glen in the Porsche Cup. Thankfully though, today's attempt is going to go a lot better and we're even going to get a full race in. We're at Oulton Park and it's another first. It's our first ever race in this brand new series for iRacing, the Formula iR-04. Now, we were well off the pace in qualifying in the Porsche the other day. We were by far the slowest car on track, but it looks like we might be a bit more competitive today. We've put it 8th on the grid. But I'm certainly not expecting an easy ride because I've watched a few YouTubers take on this race already this week. Ben at LeBroca Sim Racing, Dave Cam's done it as well, and all the races have been utter mayhem. In particular, the hairpin at this island layout has been causing no end of problems, so that is going to be our first challenge, to get through lap 1 and get through that hairpin unscathed. The lights have gone green, so we're underway. We're going to have the inside line here into T1 and I'm really happy with that, so we're just going to hold it tight as we approach this first corner. There's lots of space around the outside. We're going to get through cleanly. That's a relief. A quick glance in the rearview mirror suggests that turn 1 claimed several victims behind us. We'll go back and check that out in a minute, but for now we've got to concentrate on what's in front of us, and that Red Bull car getting a proper slide on. Right, now it's time to grit our teeth and strap ourselves in because we are fast approaching this hairpin. And we've got Manuel Ritter having a look up the inside. You know what, I'm not going to take any chances. I'm going to run it out as wide as possible. Manuel can have that space. So we've effectively given him the position there, and I think we might lose another one because Bryn Evans has pulled alongside us. Evans is going to have the inside line for this chicane, so I don't think we can do anything about that. We're going to have to ease off early again. But I'm certainly not going to lose any sleep over giving away a position or two on this opening couple of laps. It's going to be chaotic, so the main aim is to get through unscathed. We've done that so far. And let's not forget that this is a 20-minute race too. It's longer than the usual D-Class race on iRacing. So it makes no sense to take any unnecessary risks too soon in this race. Let's just take it easy. Let the race come to us. I'm actually pretty happy with the position we find ourselves in at the moment as we approach the end of lap 1. Yeah, there's a little bit of a gap that's opening up to the pack of cars in front, but more importantly, there's a bit of breathing room behind us, almost 1.5 seconds back to Vincent Tablet. So as we cross the line, what position do we find ourselves in? 10th. So we have indeed dropped a couple of places from where we started on the grid, but we are still well inside the top half, so that's a really encouraging start to this race. And I'm actually quite amazed that we've not gained any positions from crashes on lap 1. It was a pretty clean first lap. I'll be honest, I was expecting a disaster zone, but I won't speak too soon because we're approaching this hairpin for the second time. There's a puff of smoke, and there is indeed carnage. 2 cars off. Luckily, we had enough notice to prepare for it. We were able to weave our way through, and that puts us up to 8th position. Right, we said we'd come back and take a look to see what disasters occurred at T1. Thankfully, it all happened behind us with a number 7 car on the inside there. But look behind. Keep your eye on the number 16 car. That's Mike Rash, and he's made a move up the inside of the number 24, Emil Vikholm. But Vikholm gets clipped trying to defend it, and then behind them, there was an even bigger wreck. Goodness knows where these lot ended up. Another realm by the looks of it. But let's jump forward to the hairpin of doom. I said on approach that I was planning to take a wide line, and look how wide a line I took. There was no danger of me getting clipped out there, but it did cost me 2 positions. However, fast forward a lap, and we're going to get both those places back. Marvin Martin in the Red Bull car just trying to make a move up the inside of the number 14 Malapipka. We're rejoining the live action towards the end of lap 3. We're still in 8th position and we're just about keeping in touch with Manuel Rittner in 7th. He's just about a second ahead of us, but we have got Vincent Tablet for company still. Look in the rearview mirror. We've not been able to shake him over the last lap in a bit, and I'm wondering if he might be sizing up a move into T1. He's actually going to run in a little bit hot. The rear steps out. He did clip that inside curb. He's done really well to save it, but he's lost a lot of ground. So let's have a look to see what's going on in front of us, and we've got a back marker who's going to lose it, and he's going to take Rittner with him. We've got to be careful not to get collected too. Oh, that was rotten luck for Rittner. He had nowhere to go there, nothing he could do about that. He did seem to rejoin fairly quickly, but Vincent Tablet has got around him too, and we've profited. We are up to 7th position. And I tell you what, it hasn't taken Tablet long to reel us back in. He lost more than a second when he made that mistake going into T1, but he's right back on our tail now. So we're going to have to have our wits about us here. I'm expecting that we're going to come under attack from Tablet very shortly. Oh no, we're not, because he's lost it on the exit of the chicane. Tablet has spun into the gravel. And even more incredibly, as I was watching that in my rearview mirror, I noticed that we've lost William Griffiths, so he was leading the race. So the race leader has DNF'd as well. Dear me, so many twists in this race already, and we're not even at the end of the 4th lap yet. What we do know is that when we do cross the line, we're going to be up to 6th position. We gained 7th when Rittner went off onto the grass trying to avoid that back marker, and we're going to pick up 6th with Griffiths leaving the race. And there's a gap of more than 4 seconds back to Rittner in 7th, so we're actually in quite a comfortable position now, but it might get even better. Travis Shoemaker's in the barrier. He was in 4th. It looks like Bryn Evans might have joined him in the Red Bull car too. Evans was rejoining. We've managed to get past him. Amazing stuff. We've been gifted 4 positions. We've gone from 8th to 4th within the space of 1 lap. Yeah, this race was completely transformed during the course of lap 4. Let's begin with the spinning back marker. That's Mackenzie Milwain, and poor Manuel Ritter just had nowhere to go. And look at Milwain reversing at full pelt right across the track there. He only just missed Vincent Tablet. And speaking of Tablet, he closed the gap right down on me here, but watch his rear tyre, it's just going to clip the grass. That's going to send him out into the gravel, and I hate to say it, but that's a bitter pill to swallow for Tablet. Right, on board with the race leader, William Griffiths. What on earth happened to him? He's just going to clip the tyres on the inside of that chicane. Loses a wheel. Yeah, that's a real easy mistake to make here at Oulton Park. Griffiths isn't the first, and he certainly won't be the last to do that. Now, all those incidents combined to give me a clear 6th position, but it was going to get even better at the start of lap 5. Bryn Evans in the Red Bull's going to make a move up the inside into T1. There's contact with Shoemaker. They both go out. And I'm not really sure what caused that incident. They both seem to have enough space. Let's ride on board with Travis Shoemaker. Here's the Red Bull trying to pull alongside, and it looks like he did get alongside. There's space enough for 2 of them, but then suddenly there's contact. It didn't look like Shoemaker turned in either. Let's take a look from the chopper cam. Did Shoemaker leave enough space on that inside line? It looks like he did to begin with, but then the space just ran out. It also looked like the Red Bull might have got a little bit unsettled on that inside line as well. But it was really tight in there. Very little margin for error. So unlucky. Back to the race, and we're approaching the end of lap 6, sitting in a very comfortable 4th position. I was thrilled with this. I didn't think he was going to get any better, because the driver in 3rd, Duncan Watts, was 8 seconds clear, but then a quick glance at the relative board sees that gap all of a sudden plummeting. Watts has become the latest in a long line of drivers to bin it. There he is, just rejoining. The yellow flags are out, but he's not got the speed to hold on to the position. We're able to tear past and take 3rd place.
Now in 3rd.
And there's the confirmation from crew chief. We are occupying a podium position, but let's not get carried away. We're only halfway through this race. We've still got a good 10 minutes to go, and although Duncan Watts is behind us, we know that Watts is faster. So I strongly suspect that within the next couple of laps, Watts will be right on our tail, wanting his 3rd position back. And just to throw another complication into the mix, we're closing in fast on a back marker, so that could come into play as well. If we're not able to get around this lap driver quickly, that's going to give Watts an even bigger opportunity to put us under some pressure. He's closed that gap to within a second now as we come through this chicane. However, he might have got his line a little bit wrong, because it's now back up to 1.2 seconds. It was 0.7 as we went into the chicane, but 1.2 as we came out of it. So we've gained a bit of time there, but we are getting ever closer to this back marker, so this could slow us down. And in fact, we're going to have to take this corner very carefully now. We don't want to make any mistakes. We don't want to rattle him. He's going to pull over to the left, so we're going to take the inside line. This should be okay for the final turn. But that did cost us a lot of speed on the exit of the previous corner, and that has allowed Watts to close right back in on us now. 0.3 of a second as we cross the line to start the 8th lap. One advantage I do have is that I'm in front on track, because Oulton Park is not easy to pass. So we've just got to concentrate on holding our line, hitting our apexes, and making Watts work really hard if he wants to find a way through. We're actually doing a fairly decent job of keeping a bit of distance. The gap's back up to 0.6 of a second now. Oh, but wait a minute, what's going on in front? There's a car rejoining from the Grand Prix circuit. Goodness only knows where he's come from. But the second you see a cloud of smoke at that hairpin, the alarm bells start to ring. I did panic a little bit then. I got on the brakes just a little bit quicker than I normally would, and that has allowed Watts once again to start breathing down my neck. So much like on the previous lap, we might have to deal with another back marker before long. I'm just glancing in my rearview mirror to see that Watts has also got company, but that's not a battle for position. He's actually got Travis Shoemaker behind him, so although Shoemaker is a lap down, we know that he's a fast driver. He was in front of us until that turn 1 incident a couple of laps ago. Oh, but the yellow flags are out at the final turn. What's going on? There's someone on the gravel. He's going to rejoin with 3 wheels by the looks of it. Arietta has to take avoided action. Oh, he's going to come right in by us. We just managed to get through okay. And in the melee, we've lost Duncan Watts. I think he ran into the back of me when I eased off to deal with that rejoin ahead of me. Let's go back and check out the replay. Well, in fact, we'll go back a few laps because this was Watts' first spin at the final turn. This is what gave me 3rd position. But sadly, things were going to get far messier at the same corner a couple of laps later. Now we're watching the back marker, Jake Ballum. Now he's missing a front wing, and judging by the shower of sparks, I suspect he's got wheel damage as well. So I'm sure that Ballum is just trying to cruise around to bring it back to the pits. However, that damaged wheel finally says enough is enough. It comes off just on the approach to this final turn. Now at this point a rejoin probably isn't the most sensible idea, but he knows he's within touching distance of the pits. He still wants to get back there. He rejoins right in front of Arietta. Somehow we managed to creep through as well, although my heart was in my mouth, but sadly Watts didn't. And as I suspected, it was contact with me that caused Watts to crash. Now I'd seen the danger, so I just got off the gas a little bit more than I normally would have, and I think that caught Watts out. He was still going into the corner at racing speed. A regretful incident. The last thing I ever want to do is brake check anybody, but I'd seen what was unfolding ahead. I'd adjusted my speed accordingly to try and get through safely, and sadly Watts had nowhere to go, and even more unfortunately took Shoemaker with him as well. So lads, if you're watching this, I really do apologise for that. There was nothing I could do. I was just reacting to the yellow flag and the incident ahead, and it looks like now that frustrations are really boiling over with Shoemaker ramming out Watts again. So anyway, we dusted ourselves down after that incident, and we're rejoining the live action towards the end of lap 10. We're about 3/4 of the way through the race now, and we're sitting in a very comfortable 3rd position. Jan Rao is our nearest challenger in 4th place, but he's more than 10 seconds behind, so we've got some real breathing room behind us. In front of us, the 2nd place driver, Tim Benecker, is around 9 seconds ahead, so surely that's too far in front for us to do anything about it. Or is it? Suddenly that gap starts to tumble on the relative board, and look, Benecker has gone into the pit, so he's obviously carrying some damage. Benecker has come to grief somewhere, and unbelievably, we are up to 2nd position. Who would have thought it, and what on earth happened to Benecker? Well, to get the answer to that question, we've got to go back to the start of the previous lap. This is Benecker in a very comfortable 2nd position, but look, it's a car coming out of the pits. They touch wheels and Benecker's into the grass. That's where he picked up the damage, and that explains why he had to go into the pits at the end of the lap. Oh dear, a really unfortunate incident, that one. It's actually Arietta, the driver, who was exiting pit lane. Now, did he go across into the racing line? It looks like he did, yeah, before he'd let Benecker fully get past. And still they kept crashing. We're fast forwarding to the penultimate lap. Now this is Philip Di Brabanda getting it all wrong and crashing out of 12th place and taking several cars with him. He gets a big hit there. He's going to get another big hit there as cars go off everywhere. Now, the reason I'm showing you this one is because one of the cars who hit him was Mala Pipka here, and he picks up some big damage. Look, he's lost a wheel as well, but with only 1 lap left after this one, he doesn't want to go back into the pits to get repairs, so he's going to try and finish this race on 3 wheels, and that is going to give me one last little fright on the last lap. We're rejoining the live action now. I can see Pipka just ahead of me. Now at this stage I'm assessing my situation, and I know that there's absolutely no need for me to take any risks whatsoever. I can see he's carrying damage, and my nearest challenger Benecker is nearly 14 seconds behind, but thankfully Pipka's able to move over safely. His damaged car doesn't malfunction any further and come anywhere near mine, so I breathed a huge sigh of relief when I got around that one okay, because I know now that I'm only a couple of corners from home, and incredibly I'm going to bring it home to finish in second position. I never expected that we would finish this high at the start of the race. But probably the most astounding thing is the fact that we went from 10th to second without making a pass. We didn't overtake one driver in this race. We just picked up the pieces when they all crashed, and as a result we're going to get a really healthy plus 84 to the I rating. Safety rating, meanwhile, will take the tiniest of knocks. We only picked up 4x, and that was due to the contact from Watts in the final turn, but I'm not too worried about that. Our safety rating's looking pretty healthy at the moment, and there's the classified results. And if ever there was a case for taking things easy in a race and getting the rewards, it's this one. As I said earlier, we didn't make one overtake, but we managed to work our way from 10th up to second. And just take a look at those fastest lap times. My lap time is way slower than anyone else in the top 10. So slow and steady may not win the race, but sometimes it'll get you pretty close. Thanks for watching. Cheers.